What I'm about to reveal to you today has the power to change your life forever. If you've been feeling that something is different in the world, if you've sensed a weight in the air, a shift that you can't quite explain, know this: your intuition is not wrong. That restlessness inside you is not an accident. The signs are all around us, and only those who understand what is unfolding will be prepared for what's coming next. Look around. Can't you feel it? There's something stirring beneath the surface, something beyond what the eyes can see. It's as if the very fabric of reality is shifting, as if the world as we know it is moving towards something inevitable. Ancient prophecies are unfolding right in front of our eyes, and yet, so many remain blind to what is happening. Do you see it? Do you understand what this means? Time is no longer on our side. You were not led here by coincidence. You are here because deep inside, you know there's more. You can feel it, can't you? The pull of something greater, the whisper of truth trying to break through the noise. The destiny of humanity is being sealed at this very moment. And you have a choice to make. You can either awaken to what is happening or be swept away by the storm that's coming. Let me ask you something. Are you truly ready to hear the truth? Because the truth is not comfortable. The truth will shake you. It will demand that you see beyond the illusion, that you break free from everything you were told to believe. It will challenge you, force you to open your eyes, and once you do, there is no turning back. That's why I need you to listen carefully. Every word I'm about to say matters. This is not just another message. This is a wake-up call. There are forces at play that most people cannot even begin to comprehend. Forces that shape the very world we live in. And whether you acknowledge it or not, whether you believe it or not, these forces are already at work. Think back. Have you ever experienced moments where everything felt off? Where time itself seemed to speed up, where reality felt different, where events unfolded in ways that defied logic? That's not your imagination. That's not coincidence. The world is shifting, and only those who pay attention will be ready. When the moment arrives, and make no mistake, that moment is coming. Soon, the veil will be lifted, and everything that has been hidden will be revealed. The distractions, the illusions, the carefully crafted lies that keep people blind will crumble, and only those who have prepared will understand what is happening. Need you to understand something. This is not about fear. This is about awareness. It's about being ready. Because those who are caught off guard will have no time to react. Those who ignore the signs will find themselves lost, searching for answers when it's already too late. But you have a chance to see what others refuse to see. You have the opportunity to step into the truth before the rest of the world even realizes what's happening. So, I ask you again, are you paying attention? Are you ready to hear what comes next? Because what I'm about to tell you could make the difference between being prepared and being caught in the storm without shelter. Listen closely. Your future may depend on it. Do you feel it? The way the world seems to be unraveling. The way chaos is no longer something distant, but a daily reality. It's as if everything is accelerating. As if the very foundation of what we once called normal is crumbling before our eyes. Disasters that once seemed rare now happen with alarming frequency. Wildfires consuming entire regions, earthquakes shaking the ground beneath our feet, floods wiping out cities overnight. You turn on the news, and it's war after war, conflict after conflict, nations rising against nations, division growing deeper by the day. And then there's the sickness, the unseen forces sweeping across the world, pandemics that change the course of history, leaving fear and uncertainty in their wake. And yet, this should come as no surprise. It was all foretold, long before we were here, long before any of these events began to unfold. It was written. You will hear of wars and rumors of wars, but see to it that you are not alarmed. Such things must happen, but the end is still to come. Nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There will be famines and earthquakes in various places. All these are the beginning of birth pains. That's Matthew 24:6-8. And Luke 21:11 says, there will be great earthquakes, famines, and pestilences in various places, and fearful events and great signs from heaven. So ask yourself, how much of this do you already see happening? How much of what was written thousands of years ago is now playing out in real time, right in front of us? Because here's the truth, what once seemed like something distant, something people read about but never truly expected to witness, is now at our doorstep. We are living through moments that past generations could never have imagined. Our grandparents, our great-grandparents, they heard these words, they believed in the warnings, but they never thought they would see the day. And yet here we are. Think about how quickly the world has changed. Just a few years ago, life felt predictable. There was a rhythm to it, a sense of security, an illusion of stability. And then one by one, the cracks began to show. The disruptions came, the uncertainty grew, and suddenly, nothing was the same. The things people once trusted, the systems, the structures, the very institutions that held society together started to falter. And now, we stand at a crossroads. The signs are undeniable. The warnings are clear. But the question is, are you paying attention? Because here's the thing, none of this is random. None of this is just a string of unfortunate events. There is a pattern, a sequence, a plan unfolding. And for those who are awake, for those who have eyes to see, it is impossible to ignore. The truth is, everything is happening exactly as it was foretold. The world isn't just going through a difficult time. It is shifting. It is transitioning into something new. The birth pains have begun, and once they start, they do not slow down, they only intensify. Maybe you've felt it in your own life. A sense of urgency, a feeling that time is running out, even if you can't explain why. Maybe you've noticed how things that used to feel important now seem insignificant. How priorities are shifting, how people around you seem to be waking up to something greater. That's not your imagination. That's not paranoia. That's discernment. That's the voice inside you telling you to pay attention. Because we are not watching history repeat itself. We are watching prophecy unfold. What was written is happening, and it is happening fast. And for those who are not prepared, for those who choose to ignore the signs, the coming days will be overwhelming. But for those who are awake, for those who understand what is happening, this is not a time to fear. This is a time to prepare, because the world is changing, and there is no going back to the way things were. What was comfortable, what was familiar, what felt safe, it's slipping away. The days ahead will test hearts, challenge faith, and separate those who can see from those who refuse to. This is why you must be aware. This is why you must not dismiss what's happening as just another phase, just another crisis that will pass. This is bigger than that. This is the moment where choices matter more than ever. So, I ask you, what will you do with this understanding? Will you open your eyes, or will you pretend not to see? Will you seek truth, or will you cling to the illusion that everything will return to normal? Because normal is gone. The world you once knew is not coming back. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you will be ready for what comes next. Pay attention. Stay alert. Because everything that was written is now unfolding, and the time to prepare is running out. Have you ever felt different? Like you were never meant to simply exist, to just go through life following the same patterns as everyone else? Have you ever looked around and wondered why you see things that others don't? Why you feel things so deeply? Why your intuition warns you before something happens? Why your dreams seem to hold messages you can't ignore? If you've ever questioned why you are the way you are, let me tell you, this is not a mistake. This is not your imagination. There are those in this world who have been chosen, those who have been set apart for something greater. And if you've been feeling this pull, If you've been sensing that something is shifting inside you, then you may be one of them. The chosen ones have always known, even before they could put it into words. They felt it since childhood, this deep sense that they were different. Maybe you always felt like you didn't quite belong, like you were watching the world from the outside, seeing things others couldn't see, sensing things before they happened. Maybe you've experienced moments where you just knew something was coming, where your gut feeling was so strong that ignoring it was impossible. And time after time, you were right. This is not a coincidence. This is a sign. Throughout history, those who were chosen were never the ones who fit in. They were always the ones who stood apart, the ones who saw beyond the surface, the ones who felt the weight of something greater pressing on their spirit. Look at Joseph. He was given dreams that revealed the future, warnings and insights that others dismissed. Yet those very dreams shaped the destiny of nations. Look at Noah. He was warned before the flood, told to prepare when no one else believed, and because he listened, he was ready when the time came. Look at John. He was given visions of what was to come, revelations that would shake the world. Yet most people were blind to what he saw. And now, here we are, standing at the edge of something big, something that is shifting the very fabric of reality. Can you feel it? That voice inside, that knowing deep in your soul that tells you something is about to change. That is the call. That is the awakening of the chosen. The question is, will you listen? Will you trust what you feel? Or will you dismiss it, convincing yourself that you're just imagining things? Because I can tell you this, those who ignore the call will miss what is coming. Those who deny what they know deep inside will be caught off guard. But those who answer, those who open their eyes, those who accept that they were never meant to be like everyone else, they will be prepared. You see, being chosen is not about status. It is not about being better than anyone else. It is about responsibility. It is about seeing before others see, knowing before others know, preparing before others even realize there is something to prepare for. It is about carrying a truth that most people are not ready to hear. And that is not an easy burden. It means walking a path that is often lonely. It means being misunderstood. It means feeling things more deeply, sensing shifts before they happen, and carrying a weight that others will never understand. But it also means purpose. It means clarity. It means knowing that you were not placed here by accident, that everything you've felt, everything you've seen, everything you've experienced has been leading you to this moment. So let me ask you, have you felt it? That deep, unshakable sense that something is calling you. Have you noticed how your dreams have been shifting? How your intuition has been stronger? How moments of clarity come to you at the most unexpected times? Have you felt that unexplainable knowing, that certainty that something is about to happen? Because if you have, then you need to understand you are not alone. There are others like you, others who are feeling the same thing, others who have been chosen to see what is coming before it arrives. But here's the truth. Being chosen does not mean you will automatically be ready. You have to decide what to do with what you've been given. You have to choose whether you will embrace what you know or suppress it, whether you will prepare or pretend you never felt the call. Because the time is coming when the difference between those who were awake and those who stayed blind will be undeniable. So, if you have been feeling this pull, if you have been sensing that something big is about to unfold, then listen closely. This is not the time to ignore it. This is not the time to brush it off as just a passing thought. This is the time to wake up, to embrace what you were meant to see, to step fully into what you were called to be. Because those who are chosen are not chosen by accident. They are chosen for a purpose. And the time to step into that purpose is now. If you are listening to this right now, understand that it is not by chance. You were meant to hear this. The world is shifting, and there's no more time for hesitation. What is unfolding before us is not just another crisis. not just another difficult season that will pass. No, this is something deeper, something that has been foretold, something that is happening right now, whether people choose to acknowledge it or not. And the question is, what will you do with this knowledge? Will you prepare, or will you look away? Because the time for waiting is over. The time to act is now. The first and most important thing you must do is strengthen your connection with God. This is not the time for weak faith. This is not the time for passive belief. This is the time for deep, unwavering commitment. The kind of faith that cannot be shaken. The kind of faith that anchors you when everything else is falling apart. You must pray, not just occasionally, not just when you feel like it, but constantly. Your prayers are your lifeline. They are the connection that will keep you standing when the storm arrives. But it's not just about praying. It's about removing everything in your life that is pulling you away from your faith. The distractions, the noise, the things that weaken your spirit without you even realizing it. Ask yourself how much of your time is spent feeding your soul, and how much is spent on things that drain it. Because make no mistake, there are forces at work designed to keep you blind, to keep you distracted, to keep you from seeing what is really happening. You need discernment now more than ever. The ability to separate truth from deception, the ability to recognize when something is leading you astray. If you are not actively seeking truth, you will be swept away by the lies. And it's not just about your spiritual protection, it's about how you live your life. Every choice you make matters. The decisions you make now will determine how prepared you are when everything begins to shift even faster. This is the time to be wise, to be intentional with your actions. Look at your home. Look at your family. Are you preparing them? Are you protecting them? Are you making choices that align with where you know the world is heading? Or are you still clinging to a version of life that no longer exists? Because here's the truth, there is no going back. The world as you knew it is gone. The stability, the predictability, the illusion of safety, it's all fading. And those who continue to live as if everything is the same will be the most vulnerable when the storm arrives. This is the time to step away from everything that is falling apart. The systems that are collapsing, the structures that are crumbling. If you tie yourself to them, you will fall with them. But if you step back, if you recognize that you were never meant to depend on what the world offers, then you will see a different path. A path of protection. A path of clarity. A path that leads to true refuge, but most people won't see it. Most people will continue to ignore the signs, convincing themselves that things will get better, that this is just another difficult season like so many before. They will laugh at those who warn them. They will dismiss those who try to wake them up. But the moment will come when they will realize too late that they were wrong, that they should have listened, that they should have prepared. And by then, there will be no more time. You have seen it, haven't you? How nothing feels normal anymore. How every day the world feels heavier. How there is a sense of urgency in the air that wasn't there before. That is your confirmation. That is your spirit telling you that this is real, that this is happening. And you have a choice. Do you ignore it like the rest of the world, or do you prepare? Because those who see beyond the obvious will be the ones who find refuge when the storm comes. So hear me clearly. This is not about fear. This is about wisdom. This is about understanding the times we are living in and making the choices that will keep you standing when everything else is falling apart. Pray without ceasing. Guard your heart, your mind, your spirit. Remove the distractions that weaken you. Seek truth relentlessly. And above all, do not be blind to what is happening. Because those who prepare now will be the ones who endure. But those who ignore the signs will be caught in the storm with no shelter. The time is now. Choose wisely. The signs are clear. The world is not what it used to be, and deep inside, you know it. You can feel it in the way things have changed. In the way time itself seems to be slipping through our fingers. There's no denying it anymore. The storm is not coming, it's already here. The question is, what will you do with this understanding? Will you ignore it, pretend that things will return to normal, cling to a past that no longer exists? Or will you open your eyes, take hold of the truth, and prepare yourself for what is to come? Because make no mistake, time is no longer on humanity's side, but you still have a choice. You still have the power to decide your path before it's too late. If you felt the weight of this message, if something inside you is stirring, then understand this, you were meant to hear this. This is not a coincidence. This is a calling, a final chance to step into awareness before the door closes. Because those who are chosen are never left unprepared. They are given the signs, they are given the warnings, they are given the wisdom to see what others refuse to see. And you, yes, you have been given that same chance. The path has already been set, the way has already been revealed, and now the decision rests in your hands. Faith has never failed those who trust in it. No matter how dark the night, no matter how fierce the storm, those who stand firm in faith are never abandoned. There is always a way, always a place of refuge, always a light that leads the way forward. The world may fall apart, the systems may collapse, but the chosen ones will endure because they do not stand alone. They are protected, guided, strengthened by something far greater than what this world can offer. So do not be afraid. Do not allow fear to cloud your vision. Instead, allow faith to anchor you. Allow truth to guide you. Allow discernment to separate you from the illusions that keep so many asleep. The plan has already been written. The events are unfolding exactly as they were foretold. Nothing is out of place. Nothing is happening without purpose. The pieces are moving, the final moments are approaching, and those who are awake can already see the shape of what is coming. So now the question is, what will you do? Will you step into the path you were meant for, or will you wait until it's too late to move? Because whether you act or not, the truth remains unchanged. The time is running out. The window is closing. But those who listen, those who respond, those who prepare, those will be the ones who endure. And now it is your turn. If this message has resonated with you, if you felt something deep inside stirring as you listened, then do not keep this to yourself. You received this message for a reason. And maybe, just maybe, someone else needs to hear it before the clock reaches the final hour. Share this. Speak this truth. Because there are still some who can be awakened before the last moment arrives. And when that moment comes, those who knew will look back and realize that this right here, right now, was their final call to prepare.